Let them fight. Let them fight. We're going to talk about Google versus Disney. These two are fighting over YouTube TV. And, look, they're competitors now, right? They really are. So this is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Thank you for watching Clownfish TV. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this YouTube TV blackout. According to The Wrap, nearly 25% of subscribers have or that plan to cancel YouTube TV, and they're going to jump over to ESPN or Hulu Plus Live to watch sports and stuff. Right?
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, you have YouTube TV, which is that guy that's been like running everything into the ground at Google. You have him, and he thinks he's all that in a bag of chips, chasing Hollywood, and thinks he's all self-important. And then you have, the Disney people who also think that they're self-important and they're so, special. And now they're fighting each other. And what's going, it's interesting to me because Disney's trying to make it out like they're the victim. And we're going to talk about the letter in his second. But they historically have had run-ins with other carriage disputes for other companies, and the carriers were also saying the same things that Google's kind of saying, which was Disney wants too much money for what they have, and they also want you to carry a bunch of channels you don't want in the amount of money they want to raise the prices for. And that's what happened to the Fubo TV thing, and then that ended up in a lawsuit which got resolved when Disney basically invested in Fubo TV and made them part of their channel. They just bought them out. But it's not always as easy as buying them out. But you have these two people who think that everything, they are the center of the universe, and they're so important to Hollywood. Now they're fighting each other.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is what I believe it's about. Is I think Disney is trying to push everybody over to Disney Plus and Hulu so they get more money, right?
Well, and ESPN, because I guess with the shutdown, they're doing that college game day thing. There's like a show they would do. And ESPN on the app's offering it for free if you sign up for the app. So it's like, they're not doing anything to be out of the goodness of their heart.
No.
But people are supposedly canceling YouTube to go to buy Disney or ESPN, which if you want sports, ESPN, you should just buy it to begin with.
One thing I haven't seen a lot of on YouTube, we've been talking about kind of the state of YouTube and how the advertising is changing, all that is, I have not seen the number of Disney ads that we used to see on YouTube. There used to be tons and tons of Disney ads, different platforms, movies, theme parks. I'm not seeing any of them anymore. So I'm wondering if Disney's like, we're not going to give you any money.
Well, so I think what's going to happen is like the guy at Google who thinks that, I'm going to own Hollywood and I'm going to screw the creators for Hollywood and all this stuff. It's probably going to learn real fast that it's not as easy as that because, when Hollywood doesn't like you, they're not going to play ball. But then Disney on the other side is Disney is known for, it's been over several carriage disputes and that other places have pointed out, YouTube had carriage disputes with people and they resolved it. But other places have complained before about Disney and their demands. So I think there's like a little bit, the truth lies in the middle here.
Yeah, and people are getting sticker shock too for Disney Plus. I mean, Liz, Deserto's got this. Person said they just canceled. I had it only for Mandalorian, but they got old plan $79.99 annual. Now it's $159.99. Like it's
ridiculous.
That is insane. That's insane. And it's everybody's fighting over scraps at this point. And this is the problem when YouTube wants to get into the whole Netflix Disney Plus arena too. And, they're Google and they can push their weight around, but, we're going to have a lot of, I believe, issues with Disney, possibly issues with Netflix at some point, because they're going to be like, you're our competition now. You weren't before. You were useful before when you were just a social media platform, but now you want to compete with us. Now we got a problem.
Right.
So
before we get into it any further,
please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Big woohoo. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for backing the Christmas party pins. It was a very fast campaign. It was only a week because we have to get that order in to the pin manufacturer ASAP to get these things out to you in time for Christmas. But there's still time. We're going to leave it open for a little bit yet to sell out some of the remaining pins. So you probably want to back pretty quick so we can get a final tally here. But thank you very much. It's on Kickstarter. So should we talk about this first, the situation first, and then talk about the letters going back and forth?
Yeah.
This is coming from the Wrap. YouTube TV blackout. Nearly 25% of subscribers have or plan to cancel over Disney dispute, survey finds. Now, we've got them saying they're canceling YouTube TV, right, because of the blackout, the carriage dispute. But then we have Other people saying they're just canceling Disney Plus because of the price hikes.
Well, that's just it. And then before that, they said the reason they were canceling Disney Plus was over Jimmy Kimmel. So take your pick. I think it's mostly the price hikes.
I think it's the price hikes. I think people are overwhelmed with the number of subscription services they have. And again, if it were me, if I were a young broke person, again, I would just go buy a $300 TV from Walmart, get my internet, and just watch Roku and Tubi because it's free. There's so much stuff on there you can watch. I'm waiting for YouTube to pull some shit and be like, oh yeah, even the creator content, yeah, you got to pay for that too.
Well, then if they're going to charge people for that, they better make it up to the creators because
they're pushing the memberships and they're pushing premium really hard.
Yeah, okay, great. But that most people aren't going to qualify for that or aren't going to be, that's where their viewership lies. So this guy is complete dumbass. It's a whole other video. We've talked about it.
Yeah, he has to go.
He is going to destroy the whole thing to lift up this Hollywood chase he's going on. I also think there's some other weird stuff going on with where he's from. But that's a whole other story. And then, theory. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness, and I think that they keep seeing this happen. Webtoons is the same thing. They build it up on everybody else, and then when they got what they wanted and they got some power, they just completely shafted who built them, and it's not going to stay because if those people leave, you're still screwed because everybody's still coming mostly for those people.
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there. It's about Disney.
All right, so a Drive research survey finds an influx of those polled will subscribe directly to ESPN or Hulu Plus Live TV to watch the content they care about.
Hulu Plus Live TV is so expensive though now.
It's as much, if not more, than we were paying for DirecTV when we canceled DirecTV to cut the cord. And at that point, I think Hulu was like $30 or $35, and then they just kept raising it a couple of bucks every year. And then once Disney got a hold of it, it was just like, oh yeah,
every year,
the limit.
a huge increase.
Yeah, it's insane. The survey of 1,100 customers conducted by Drive Research found that 82% of respondents are likely to cancel their YouTube TV subscription because of their programming blackout. 30% of consumers surveyed have or plan to subscribe directly to ESPN or Hulu Plus Live TV to keep access to the networks and content they care about. About 22% said they use or expect to use someone else's login for these services.
Here's the thing, too, though. I think people aren't, when they go to YouTube, they just figured, okay, we'll just put TV on here, too, and we'll just watch it when we're already at YouTube. They have no problem canceling going to Disney for other stuff because they're not at YouTube for YouTube Live TV mostly. They're on YouTube for other reasons. They just thought it'd be easier to just put it all in one.
Yeah. So here's what the survey says about who's to blame, and then we'll talk about these emails going back and forth. Disney's networks have been dark on YouTube TV since October 30th. When asked which side was at fault, 58% of those surveyed said both sides.
I agree.
Yep. They're both greedy and they're trying to take each other out. While 37% blamed Disney and 5% blamed YouTube. So more people are blaming Disney.
Yeah.
Because Disney does this all the time. Disney and Viacom, Paramount, they did this too.
We keep hearing this over and over and over again.
Yep, because they want you to take everything. That's the thing with the carriage dispute. It's not like, oh, you can't just pick a la carte. They want premium prices, and then also in the case of cable, like you had to take all the garbage channels that nobody watches. So that's how they justify the price hike. Like,
well, I know was it Fubo or whatever when they were trying before they started the lawsuit when they set up that they're suing Disney, just block venue sports. They said then that they just wanted channels that related to sports because that's what they focused on. But Disney wouldn't let them just have sports channels, that you had to buy all these other channels that their customers didn't want, which raised the price. And they were like, they're going to leave us and go to you anyway to get directly just what they want. And that's what they kind of do. They kind of do this because then if we make it unaffordable and bloated, people might just say, oh, I'll just go directly to them.
Yep. YouTube says customers are going to receive a one-time $20 credit if Disney networks are unavailable on the platform for an extended amount of time. So one time, $20, here you go. But they said the reason people subscribe to these services mostly is for sports. And basically whoever, look, I'm not a huge sports fan, but whichever platform has sports is going to have the advantage, which is why you're seeing these crazy deals for MMA and all this stuff.
Well, that's what happened with that venue that they scrapped, apparently. Yeah. It was going to be Warner Brothers, Fox, and Disney all combining so that theirs was going to have all the sports. And if you wanted it, you could get sports packages from them through your streaming service, but you had to pay such a high price with all the extras you didn't want that it was going to make what you're charging customers so high that they would just go to the venue sports anyway because it was going to be cheaper. And that's what they do. And we're going to make it so the price is so high they're just going to subscribe to our plan instead because it's going to be cheaper to do that. And that's what they have done to other carriers in the past.
All right. So you said ahead of the elections, Disney asked YouTube to allow ABC News on the platform to cover the election news, but they were denied.
Yes.
Now the top 3 Disney executives have reportedly sent an internal memo to staff about the issue, and Google called them out for it. So
yes, because here's the thing. This internal memo, and it went through there are people, and you read it. It's very clearly made to be, I think, leaked, because what they're trying to say is not the way you talk to your employees, or they would know some of this stuff already. Like, there's no reason to spell it out, but they are.
Right.
And then Google's accusing them of deliberately leaking it. They said, as they've done before. So apparently it's widely known that Disney will make the stuff say it's internal quotes and then leak it to the press.
Yeah, and you can tell it's kind of like when you're being spied on, right? And you design the message to be as like almost like on the nose.
Yeah, that's like, what it is. Because if you have employees that have been part of this, they already know what's going on. You don't have to spell it out to this level. Like,
okay, gang, we're gonna attack at midnight. That's midnight on September 1st. We're gonna have a sneak attack on the enemy. Just make sure you write that down, guys, real loud for the guys in the back. Yeah, secret attack, midnight, September 1st. Okay, you think the guy got it? They get it? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, that's when we're going to, then you just, yeah. So that's it feels like it's
It kind of does feel when we read it. But it was basically Dana Walden, Alan Bergman from Disney Entertainment, and then Jimmy Pitaro from ESPN.
The ESPN guy.
Yeah, and here's what they wrote. You can go ahead and read it.
All right. Dear team, we promise to keep you updated on our negotiations with Google's YouTube TV following their decision last week to pull our channels from their service, and we are writing today with the latest. We realize this has been a challenging week with everyone asking the same question as millions of YouTube TV subscribers during the busiest time of the year in sports.
Okay, that sentence right there. Why?
Why would you have to mention that?
Like, it's been challenging when you keep asking the same questions, but why do you have to add? But millions of YouTube, you know what I mean? YouTube TV
during the
subscribers.
Busiest time of the year, like, boy, it's a real shame.
I know, right?
When will ESPN and ABC be back on the service?
Which is one of the Google search terms.
Yep. We wish we could give you that answer today, but unfortunately, we're headed into another sports-packed weekend without a deal in place. We know you've seen a swirl of information about the impasse, so we wanted to share some of the facts. Are you taking notes there, journalists?
You're sharing the facts with the people that are actually working on the stuff as we're speaking. They already know these facts.
They already know. We began these negotiations by offering YouTube TV a deal that would cost less overall than the terms of our recently expired license. That's real savings that YouTube TV could pass along to its customers.
Again, why would you have to put that sentence in there? You could just end with expired license.
For your
exactly.
employees.
It's
yes,
for the press.
Public.
That's what Google's calling them out for. And I'm going to agree with Google on this one. The way this is written, as somebody who's run businesses, this is definitely geared as a PR piece masquerading as a leaked memo.
We've offered innovative, bespoke programming packages tailored to sports fans, entertainment fans, kids, and families that would provide tremendous flexibility for YouTube TV and greater choice and value for its customers.
Who writes it that way? You're saying it in memo?
For internal, everybody knows the deal. We've offered fair terms that are in line with the more than 500 other distributors that have renewed their agreements since last summer, including the top distributors who are far larger than YouTube TV.
Again, why would you say that?
Right. Despite all this, YouTube TV continues to insist on receiving preferential terms that are below market and has made few concessions rather than compete on a level playing field. Google's YouTube TV has approached these negotiations as if it were the only player in the game. Well, they want to be.
Well, no, I know that, but Disney does the same thing. People have always complained that Disney acts so arrogant and act like they're so special. And they've all complained about that. So they're basically just doing what Disney does, and Disney's mad about it.
I think that's actually kind of funny. Like, I'm not a fan of the culture of either one of these companies now, and I've done multiple videos about Google, how they've gone down the toilet too. But I think it's funny that Disney is getting a dose of its own medicine, because one of the only companies on earth that could give it back to Disney is Google.
Yes, because Google is big, way bigger than Disney. They actually have the #1 amount of TV time watched across both. I think a lot of it's due to their creators that they're trying to shaft, which you can kiss my ass on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
But their TV, because people watching YouTube TV, a lot of this, they got YouTube TV because they figure they're watching YouTube anyway. So they have the largest share of television viewership, which is what Disney wants.
Yes. It goes without saying that the reason so many customers value our programming above others is that because we invest in the best talent, creators and content. We cannot allow anyone to undercut our ability to do so.
You know what they forgot to mention in that one that they usually mention? We're the best, greatest storytellers in the world.
I know, right?
So if you're the best, greatest storytellers in the world, how much of this is true and how much of this is a story?
We know how difficult this situation is for the YouTube customers we serve and for all of you who provide the sports programming, entertainment, news, and live events that our fans know and love. Thank you for the incredible work you do each and every day and for staying focused on maintaining such a high bar throughout this difficult situation. We will continue to work diligently to find common ground with YouTube TV, and we'll keep you informed as we have more news to share. With gratitude, love, Alan, Dana, and Jimmy. Your friends.
I know. I just love that last part, though. They said, go back up to the paragraph before it. They're like, we know how difficult the situation is for the customers we serve. Okay, but you're talking to your employees and how difficult. You're not saying we know how this is difficult for you having to deal with people and not knowing what to say. They're not saying that. This is hard for the customers.
It's hard for the customers.
And here's all the programming we provide for those customers. You don't need to tell these people that. They already know what programming you provide for your customers. So it was like, it clearly reads as meant for the public. And then Google called him out on it. So they said, this guy said about Google's comment, he said, once again, Disney is resorting to their old tactics like leaking documents to the press, negotiating in public through their paid talent, and misrepresenting the facts, including from the deals they've offered and taking credit for our product proposals. So they probably offered, hey, why don't we do this for less money?
Right.
And Disney's trying to say it was them, which was probably not them because they always want the most money. Our team stands ready to make a fair agreement in line with the deals with other distributors, and we encourage Disney to come to the table and do what's best for our mutual customers. So Google called them out on leaking the document to try to for PR tactics, and that's sorry, Disney, that's how it comes across.
That's what they always do. They always do this, and then they're like, this is right up there with Paramount and Viacom when they were trying to get Nickelodeon, MTV, whatever, renewed. And I forget what cable company it was. It might have been Comcast, but they had Dora the Explorer.
Oh, yes, crying or whatever.
They had her crying like, you don't want Dora dead, do you?
They didn't say dead, but like, you don't want to lose Dora, do you?
She's gonna die. The ice fan's gonna take her away. If you don't act now, if you don't have mommy and daddy, call right now. Call right now. Call your senators and save Dora. Only you can save Dora.
Well, that was different, though, because they deliberately were targeting that to the public. Like, Disney's trying to target this memo to the public, but act like it's an internal memo when it clearly, I'm sorry, anybody with half a brain can see that was written not for the employees. Because the employees,
that was manipulation. It was all manipulation.
There's a lot of things that were said that wouldn't need to be said, or a lot of things that were pointed out that people at work there already knew, and they go too far. But I do think it's funny that Google called them out on that. That was hilarious. And it's also, I guess, important to note that Disney has gotten into trouble with other, people in carriage negotiations for demanding the moon, which is what Google is claiming. So, and like I said, they got sued for Venmo until they rolled it in. Not Venmo, Fubo, until they rolled it in.
I can't keep track of these. Fubo, boo boo, poo poo, pee pee, caca. That's gonna be our streaming service. Caca. All the shit you can watch.
Yeah.
All shit all the time. You're watching caca.
But anyway, speaking of shit, this whole situation, like, I'm with the 58% that think it's both their faults. I agree with them, because I think you have two groups in charge that think that their caca don't stink. Yeah, and they think that they are the caca and that they can demand the moon. And in this situation, I think Google has more negotiating power than Disney does.
I love this. Pluto under Deserto. They're talking about whispers. Pluto TV is free.
Shout out to Pluto TV, unsponsored.
There you go. Yeah, but for how long? Hulu used to offer complimentary free streaming too, at one point with ads. Forever. We won't switch it up like that on you.
Okay, so there you heard it there. Pluto said that they won't switch it up on you. And Pluto TV says we're still free. And so is Roku. And so is Tubi.
Tubi for now. I mean, for now, they're talking Roku eventually might have to. Roku has add-ons, like you can add HBO on or whatever. But I think it's getting to a point now where there's so many options out there. You don't have to pay either one of them. Honestly, it's sports. It's basically just sports. So, if that means something to you, if you just want to watch TV, there's endless news, endless TV shows, and frankly, most of the new TV shows aren't worth watching anyway. So
right. So if you don't want to pay for it, you need to save money. There you go. And a lot of the sports things, like you can find them being run other places. Well, depending on how Disney has a deal set up, because Disney seems to own most everything, the rights to most everything. But you can find other places, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I don't watch sports, so don't quote me on that. But there it is. There's a lot of crap to be thrown around, a lot of caca.
Yes. A lot of caca.
One's stepping in it, and the other one's calling it out. So there you go.
All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.